Hi! Welcome to Easy Sci. There's more fun in science. Come and join your one and only teacher Y, who loves to ask, why? How are you today? I hope you're doing great because today we will be learning more about the common characteristics of plants and animals. Are you excited? Come, let's begin!
Hi, welcome to Science and Health. Today, we will be talking about an interesting topic. Can you tell me what can you see from these pictures? Yes, you can see a panda, camels, and a tiger. And what are these, children? That is correct. These are animals. How about these pictures? What can you see? Precisely, you can see plants, vegetables, and also garden plants. Can you identify some plants and animals from your surroundings? How about from your neighborhood? Can you give some examples? Thank you. That is correct. You can see dogs, cats, frogs, and usually rats. Yes, for animals, you can see a lot of animals in our neighborhood. And for the plants, we can usually see mango trees, nara, mahogany tree, and a lot of garden plants. Thank you for sharing, students. Do you know that animals and plants have common characteristics? Please be prepared as we travel to the life of animals and plants. Are you ready? What are you waiting for? Come! Right now, we will have an activity. You need to identify what is being zoomed in your screen. To answer, you need to virtually raise your hand using the hand button on your screen. Do you understand, children? Thank you. Now, for this one, what do you think is this? Oh no, that is not a bee. It's not a bee or a fly. It's a sunflower. Yes, it's a sunflower. It's a plant. How about this one? What? No, it's not a mango or a lemon. It's a fish. Yes, it's a fish, children. Very good, class. Thank you for participating in our previous activity. Yes, just on a plain view, we can assume that some plants have the same characteristics as with the animals, or vice versa. Now we will proceed to our proper class discussion. With this, kindly get your notebooks and pens so that you can take down notes. I will count 1 to 10, okay? Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I understand that you are now wondering as to how we can classify and differentiate animals from plants. Please buckle up as we discuss the common characteristics of animals and plants for classification. Now, these are the top 7 I have identified, the common characteristics of plants and animals. First is they need food. Second, they grow in size. Third, they move. Fourth, they respond to stimuli. Fifth, they reproduce. Sixth, they breathe. And seventh, they die. Yes, the 7th one is they die. Now, let's talk about the first one. They need food. So when we say both animals and plants they need food, it meant animals hunt or search for food, while plants create their own food through, yes, that is correct, photosynthesis. Now the second one, they grow in size. Animals grow in size until they reach a genetically determined size. Yes, it is a determined size, meaning cat size are only for cats, while the elephant size are only for elephants. The cat size cannot grow up to elephant size, correct? Yes. Now, the plant's growth, on the other hand, continues throughout the lifespan. So, for example, as you all know, in rainforest, the trees grow big as they can, correct? Yes. The next one is they move. Yes, animals move around to search food, correct? So, the tigers and the lions hunt, while the chipmunks or the squirrels go up on the trees, while the fishes, the sharks eat the little fishes. So animals move around to search for food, while plants move varies to stimuli. An example for this responds to light. Sunflowers face the light, and other flowers or plants that needs light, they follow the direction of the sun. So they respond to stimuli. Animals run, fly, or swim towards food or away from danger, while plants detect and respond to stimuli in their environment. However, they cannot run, fly, or swim as they are usually rooted to the soil. So as we all know that plants, as we with this makahiya, as you touch the plant, it will directly close its leaves. Yes, that's one. So plants do still react to stimuli. However, they cannot fly, run, or swim. So si tree, wala siyang magagawa kapag pinutol siya. Tama? Now, they reproduce. Animals reproduce sexually and give birth to the young ones. That's how animals reproduce. While plants reproduce through budding, vegetative methods, spores, wind, or through insects like bees. The next one is they breathe. Animals inhaling oxygen through the lungs and exhaling carbon dioxide as a byproduct, while plants require carbon dioxide to live and oxygen through photosynthesis. And the last one is they die. Yes, everyone dies, including humans. Let me read this one. When plants and animals die, they become food for the decomposers like bacteria, fungi, and earthworms. Decomposers are saprotrophs. Decomposers are the last one, and the last one category, and the last one common characteristics of plants and animals is that both organisms die. When plants and animals die, they become food for decomposers like bacteria, fungi, and earthworms. Decomposers or saprotrophs recycle dead plants and animals into chemical nutrients like carbon and nitrogen that are released back into the soil, air, and water. Yes, including humans. As humans, we die, and then these decomposers also, yes, turn our bodies back into the soil, air, and water. Thank you for listening about the common characteristics of animals and plants. Now this time we will be discussing into details about the animals and plants classification. I will now give this to Teacher Jaya and Teacher Eliza. I hope you will listen too. Bye-bye!
Good morning, everyone. I am Teacher Jaya and welcome to our class. Do you love animals? Who among you here love animals? Oh, that's great. So for today's lesson, we're going to tackle about the classification of animals. Did you know that animals are classified and divided into two groups? Oh, so you know about it. So what are these? Oh yes, these are the vertebrates and invertebrates. How are animals classified? So what is vertebrates? Do you have any idea what is vertebrates, class? I will give 10 points who can answer my question. No one? Okay, so vertebrates are the presence of backbone. The presence of backbone is a common characteristic among vertebrates. The backbone provides axial support and houses the spinal cord. At the end of the spinal cord is the enlarged brain. These are examples of vertebrates. Fishes are vertebrates that lives in the water. Cold-blooded animal means their temperature changes depending on the temperature of their surrounding. Their body shape adapted for living and moving aquatic habitats. These are protected with scales. Scale is used for locomotion, and fins are for steering and maintaining balance through their gills. Amphibians. Next is amphibians. You know that the word amphibian means double lives, which refers to the ability of the animals to live in both land and water. For example, frogs, toads, salamanders are amphibians. They are also cold-blooded animals, which means their temperature depends on the temperature of their surrounding. They feed on insects, worms, and other animals. Most amphibians also have thin, soft, and slimy skins, which is also used for breathing. The moist surface of their skin enables them to absorb oxygen from the air. So these are the example of amphibians. We have the frog, salamander, toad, newt, and cacus. Perching birds. These birds have feet that are formed in such a way that they are easily clasp a tree branch. Their beaks are long, thin, and strong enough to crack nuts or to open barks. Woodpecker, sparrows, larks, and crows are pitching birds. Next is water birds. These birds have long and flat beak and webbed feet. They stay in the water all the time to get their food. Example are ducks, geese, and swans. Flightless bird. These birds have small wings and a big body, so they cannot fly. Many flightless birds live in large, open spaces in the deserts and plains. An example is the ostrich that makes use of its long legs for running and kicking the enemies. Birds of prey. Eagles and hawks. Mammals. The term mammals came from Greek word mama, which means breast. They are the only group of animals with mammary glands which produce milk to nourish their young. Lastly, invertebrates. What is invertebrate? Invertebrates are animals that do not have a spinal column or a skeleton made of bones. Some invertebrates are jellyfish, worms, mollusks, and arthropods.
Hello class! Yes, so before we will start our discussion for today, I want to introduce myself to you. I am teacher Eliza Digamba. Just call me teacher Liza. So I am your teacher in science. So, yes. Okay, for our topic for today class is all about the plants of classification. How are plants classified? So, plants are extremely complex and diverse, and there are millions of different plant species. Some that haven't even been fully discovered and studied yet. In order to continue the study in the organizations of plants, botanists must find a way to categorize the many different of species. Botanist class is the scientists who study plants. Okay. While all plants are made up of similar parts that are essential in maintaining their survival, just like, for example, having roots, having stems, and having leaves, and etc. So they often look different, right? Okay, very good. These differences in characteristics are used to group plants into species, which provides a way of classifying and therefore organizing plants. So while there are many ways to structures plants classified, one way is to group them into plants classified into vascular and non-vascular. So under in vascular class is including the angiosperms and gymnosperms, and for the non-vascular is algae. So, and plants can also be classified as grasses, herbaceous plants, woody shrubs, and trees. Okay. Okay, we will define what is vascular plants. So, the vascular plants are a large group of terrestrial plants which have specialized tissues for conducting water and nutrients to different parts of plants. Okay, vascular plants class is plants that use roots and stems to take in water and nutrients. Yes, so vascular plants is including angiosperms. So we will define what is angiosperms. So angiosperms class is they can grow into big trees as well as small shrubs, bushes, and herbs. So, and also known as flowering plants. So angiosperms class is also known as flowering plants. So all have seeds that are protected by an oval. Okay. Angiosperms class is protected by the oval. So later we will define later the oval. So the examples of angiosperms class is mango trees, roses, jasmines, marigold, and etc. So what I've said earlier in angiosperms is protected by the ovals. So oval is the organ that forms the seeds of flowering plants. So flowering plants class is angiosperms. It is a burnt to the ovary of the flower and consists of nucleolus protected by integuments, precursors of embryo, endosperms, and seed coat respectively. So, ovals class is that seeds has the protected in the angiosperms. So, next, what is gymnosperms? So, it is a group of plants which is primarily evergreen and are native to the temperate zone. There are about 700 species discovered to date. They are vascular, non-flowering plants which produce seeds without the productions of flower and fruits. So, gymnosperms class is a term meaning naked seeds. So, this refers to plants with seeds and aren't protected by an oval. So, this is the difference between the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. So, angiosperms class is the all seeds are protected by the oval. So, but the angiosperms class is not protected by the oval. So, gymnosperms class is the example of gymnosperms is pines, cycads, cedars, and etc. Next, so what is non-vascular plants? So non-vascular plants are plants without a vascular system consisting of xylem and phloem. Although non-vascular plants lack these particle tissues, many possess simpler tissues that have specialized functions for the internal transport of water. So And algae are the type of non-vascular plants. So non-vascular plants is a type of algae. So later we will define this on algae. This is a type of non-vascular plant. Okay. What is algae plant? So algae plants are a diverse group of aquatic organisms that have the ability to conduct photosynthesis. Certain algae are familiar to most people. For instance, seaweeds such as kelp or phytoplankton. Pond scum on the algal blooms in lakes. However, there exists a vast and varied world of algae that are not only help to us but are critical to our existence. Yes, algae is the type of non-vascular plant. Okay, next. So plants can be classified into grasses, herbaceous plants, woody shrubs, and trees. Okay. Grasses, plants that have slender leaves and reproduce by sending out underground stems called rhizomes that usually grow horizontally. So grasses class is very known, right? So grasses is known to us. This is usually makita ra sa school, like sa ato ang elementary school, right? Oo. Yes, grasses is kanang naa siya naa siya usually sa eskwelahan. Like kanang makita bitaw nato sa ground nga like ga-green sila nga like ga-green nga gagmay pero ano siya kanang naka-horizontally siya pagkakuan kanang hanay ang pagkakuan sa plants bitaw like kanang horizontally usually grow in horizontally kanang hanay. So grasses is usually makita ara sa eskwelahan sa ato ang elementary or even the high school pata. So makita ra ang grass. And grass is pwede na to siya madulaan or matambayan or malingkuran. Yes. Kay sa ako ang elementary days manggod sa elementary days pamagid ko ato nga time is dito gid mi gadula galingkod if magdula mi or naami buhaton naami dadto and usually naasay uban nga gakatulor or gahigda-higda. Yes. So that is the example of grasses that usually ang makita ra nato sa eskwelahan. So the next is the herbaceous plant. So herbaceous plants is those with leaves and stems that die at the end of the growing season. So herbaceous plants class is usually kanang makita bitaw nato like maningala na lang ta nga kanang plant and at the end of the season mamatay sila. Mao nang example of herbaceous plants. Yes, kanang usually nga mamatay bitaw sila at the end of the growing season. Next is woody shrubs. So woody shrubs is plants that have stems that are covered by a layer or bark. So usually woody shrubs is I'm not familiar these plants. But for me is woody shrubs is kanang naa siya mga stems nga pwede nato siya ma-cover by a layer. So for me it's not I can't familiar these woody shrubs. So next is trees. Trees is woody shrubs that have a main trunk and many branches. So this is a very basic na siya no nga kanang masabtan ra o dali ra makita kay usually sa ato ang surroundings is they have trees mangyud miskan pag bisan asa ta mapaingon makakita gid tag mga trees and this is very understandable and makita ra gid siya and dili ra kay siya kanang dili dali makita but usually sa tuag yung surroundings is naara gid siya. Yes, makita ra siya. Okay. Next is okay. So this is the example of plant classification. Okay, they have the plant kingdom. So under the plant kingdom, from the right side has a vascular and the left side is non-vascular. So under the vascular is naay seed bearing and spore bearing. So for the non-vascular is algae. So what I discussed earlier, the type of non-vascular is the algae. So the seed bearing, under the seed bearing is angiosperms and gymnosperms. So class, the difference between the angiosperms and gymnosperms is angiosperms class is protected by the oval, but the gymnosperms class is not protected by the oval. Yes. And by the under of angiosperms is grasses. Grasses, not only grasses, it's also herbaceous plants, woody shrubs, and trees. Okay, next is this is the example of the vascular plants: the flowering fern, the Mendelhair moses, mosquito fern, climbing fern, tree fern, and filmy fern. Yes, this is the example of vascular plants nga usually good nga kanang naay roots and stems nga mutubo. Usually nga makita ra gid nato ni siya class, and pwede na, and kani pong ato ang ginatanom, like kanang atong ginatanom class, like mutubo siya. That is the example of vascular plants that usually nga makita gid nato diri sa atong mga surroundings, bisan asa pa ta mapaingon makita ra ni siya ang vascular plants. So okay, again, vascular plants is that use roots and stems to take in water and nutrients. Yes. And this is also the examples of non-vascular plants. So the examples of non-vascular plants is just like the liverworts, moses, and hornworts. So this is usually makita nato ni siya sa, I think, sa dagat. Makita nato ni siya, or I think kanang nasa mga tubig-tubig. Makita nato ni siya ang non-vascular plants sa mga tubig-tubig, like kanang ng mga water lily. That is one of the example of non-vascular plants. So that's it. This is the non-vascular plants. Yes, this is the example of non-vascular plants. So okay class, thank you for your listening, and I hope you are already learn something to me, and you understand what I'm discuss today. Okay, thank you and God bless.